Okay, so I'd like to respond to this TikToker, Ian, aka Silius, who just made a video directed at me in response to my claim that patriarchy is an abstract and vague theory, and the quote, dismantling of patriarchy is not enough to address men's issues. Take a look at the video and then I'll explain why it's complete nonsense.
Whoa, you're so right. Dismantling patriarchy is just a vague feminist theory. No one's ever given an in-depth description of what patriarchy is, or how it operates, or how to dismantle it, or who it affects, or...
So literally all he did was just scroll down the Wikipedia page for feminist philosophers as proof that somehow patriarchy is not a vague idea because look at all these different feminist philosophers that exist. Notice how it's not even a page about patriarchy, but that doesn't really mean anything because just because lots of people write about a vague and abstract idea doesn't mean it's not a vague and abstract idea. Think about how many thousands of philosophers have written about religion and different philosophical ideas. Does that mean we have an absolute concrete idea on what religion is true and the nature of God and the nature of the universe? No. Even if you have millions of people writing about those things, it doesn't make it any less abstract and any less vague. Here's something that's not vague. Newton's law of universal gravitation. This is absolute fact anywhere in the universe. Any scientist can verify this, and it never changes anywhere. Concepts like patriarchy and feminist theory aren't like this. There's no empirical evidence for it, and there's no way to calculate this or demonstrate it with a formula. Therefore, it is an abstract and vague concept. No matter how many people you have writing about it, it doesn't change that fact. If I ask 10 million people to write an essay on a vague idea, I now have 10 million essays on a vague idea. The number of essays and the number of people talking about it doesn't make it any less vague and any less abstract. It is still not an objectively true thing. So I'm sorry, but simply scrolling down a Wikipedia page isn't anything and doesn't prove anything at all. If you really want to make a case for how bringing down the patriarchy will help men, answer these specific questions. How will dismantling the patriarchy end infant circumcision? How will dismantling the patriarchy end the discriminatory laws that hurt male victims of domestic violence, which are often supported by feminists? How is dismantling the patriarchy going to close the education gap where boys are behind in school? How is dismantling the patriarchy going to stop the prison sentencing gap where men are sentenced to jail for longer than the same crime? When you consider that feminist organizations in the past have advocated for more lenient treatment for female offenders. So there's a big hypocrisy when feminists say that dismantling the patriarchy is the way to address men's issues, when feminist groups themselves very often lobby in favor of policies or laws that perpetuate those very gender stereotypes. Answer that and then we'll talk.